Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Spiritual Phoenix podcast, where we make a daily offering to the divine by putting our past on the fire, searching the smoke for spirituality, turning the ashes into art, adapting isolation into connection, and manifesting mental wellness. I'm your host, Ross Cessna, and together we are the Spiritual Phoenix. The intent of this show isn't to tell you what to think, but to get you to think and to allow you to originally articulate yourself in a way that is uplifting. We are the artists of our lives, and today is a blank canvas. Let's collectively create a better tomorrow. And right now, I'd like to take a moment and just focus on what we are grateful for today. Today, I'm grateful for the fluidity of my life, I guess I would say, the movement within my life. The vibration of it all. And with that being said, we are going to get into today's topic, which is get the fuck out of here with your dusty ass vibes. So what's all that about, you might be wondering? So first off, let me explain the whole concept of dusty ass vibes. First off, I'm going to take a sip of my tea though. Okay, so what are dusty ass vibes? I have a good sneaking suspicion that many of you would be like, well, people that are always kind of in this low space, always down in the doldrums, those people are dusty. They got the dusty vibes. And I would agree with that. But one of the other ends of the spectrum that I'd like to throw under the bus here, or throw into the dusty vibe bin, is people that are always optimistic and positive. Because that kind of gets dusty after a while too, because if you're not kind of fluctuating between the two, in my opinion, and in my personal experience, and the experience of other people whose opinions I value, that's pretty much how you grow, is between going through the ups and downs. And I was talking to somebody about some other group they were in, and somebody was asking about how they deal with some situation. I forget what the specifics were. And they said ostriching. Like they just kind of spiritually ostrich and bury their head in the sand and avoid the reality of it. And largely, I feel like that's what either people that are always negative about stuff are doing, and people that are always positive about stuff are doing. In some way, they're not seeing the whole picture, where it's a little bit of everything. And now I want to talk about why those people can get the fuck out of here with that. So first off, we are the 5 people that we surround ourselves with the most. The people that you see on a regular basis have a direct impact on your personality, your success, your attitude, your opinion about yourself and the world in general, and pretty much they mold you. Regardless of how resilient you may be, regardless of how much conscious effort you put in, their habits, their patterns, their mannerisms will impact you. That's just the way of it. So you have to be careful around who you surround yourself with. Now, the people that are always positive, I know you're like, how can that be an issue? It's not realistic. First off, it's detached from reality, and spirituality isn't about being detached from the material world. It's removing the illusion of the material world. And to me, that constant optimism mimics mania to a sense, and that constant optimism is a veil of illusion just as much as the constant negativity. It's a mixed bag. And if you're always in one of those states, or always trying to maintain space in one of those states, your vibes are dusty. I'm sorry. The vibes are dusty as shit. And there's no room for growth in that. And in my experience, and in my opinion, so if you're not growing, you're closer to death. If a plant gets root bound, or if the ability for something to continue to grow or expand stops, it begins to become weaker. It loses its vitality. And when people are constantly in this negative space, they don't ever get the positive experiences that allow them to grow. I'm going to sip my tea. Hold on. And if people are always in this positive in this positive space, they don't ever get the negative experiences to grow. In my experience, in the experience of a lot of people I surround myself with, and I'm willing to say that this could be where my opinion is shaped, and I could be wrong. Oh no. Most of my growth comes from discomfort. If something is comfortable, I don't really have to grow that much. What's the motivation to grow? And if people say because they want something better, then that's a discomfort, no matter how they want to label it, really. If this can be better, that's discomfort. So I'm really in this isolated position in lots of ways of who I can let in. And let me throw this out there too with the get the fuck out of here with your dusty ass vibes. I'm not saying if you don't walk this perfect central pole, or if you're on one extreme or the other all the time, that I'm not going to talk with you. It's just that I'm going to have a hard time relating with you, and I'm going to have a hard time creating some kind of friendship, relationship. Even friendships are relationships. If I can't relate to you, how can we really get down in lots of ways? How can we have a conversation? I mean, considering I'm in the central point, I can largely understand either end of the spectrum. But if you're always on one or the other, I'm going to be talking frickin' Swahili to you. And I think that that's a very isolating position for me to maintain, even though it's what I feel is right. And it's difficult in lots of ways because this dusty ass vibe thing expands farther than just negative and positive attitudes of the world. It spreads into everything, really, if you really think about it. I'm centrist in my political philosophy if I had to choose a side. And I don't really like what the Republicans are doing, so I can agree with Democrats on that. But where the issue comes up is I don't agree largely with how the Republicans or the Democrats are responding to the Republicans. So I can agree with Republicans on that, but I can't agree with Democrats. So it's this constant state of being in the middle of things. And for a while, I really wondered if that was kind of a flaw on my part. Like it was just me wanting to be difficult. And in my experience, it's not that I want to be difficult. It's that it's more sensible. And given information or given the circumstances, I'll lean more to one side. So there is movement within that middle. That's the other thing. When you get so far buried into extremes, you're almost committed to that side. Moving to a more central position becomes difficult. And the further that other extreme pushes one way, the further you're pushed to that extreme. So really, dusty ass vibes and the people that can get the fuck out of here with them are pretty much everybody that's not growing, changing, evolving, trying new things, trying to make new mistakes. People that aren't regurgitating the same shit they've been regurgitating. I guess I could even fall into that because I've been talking about maintaining the center point for a while. I don't know. It's really what needed to come up today, that people can get the fuck out of here with those dusty vibes, because it's really exhausting to be around people that don't understand you. And I know that I can find similarities with everybody, and that's what I need to focus on more than the similarities. But at certain times, I just can't deal with them dusty ass vibes. I'm talking in circles now. I think that really kind of expresses everything that I wanted to state about your dusty ass vibes. And with that, I'm going to brush the dust off my vibes, and I'm going to get going. Take it easy. Peace.